They go to these music business programs because they think if they come out of this with some diploma, then they're suddenly going to get a job in the music industry, which just, it's not how it works. What's up, everybody? I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA, and today I wanted to answer a question that's come up a few times in a few different ways over the past couple weeks. Basically, the question is how do I get a job in the music industry? Specifically, should I go to college for it? So I'm going to answer this question in two parts. The first part is going to be my thoughts on college in general, and the second part is going to be my personal opinion on how to get a job in the music industry. So if you're thinking about going to college, if you're currently in college, or if you want a job in the music industry, then listen up, because this one is for you. Okay, so part number one, my thoughts on college in general. Should you go to college or not? Well, the answer is it depends. Basically, if you see yourself as an employee, if you want to work for someone else, whether that's at a small company or a big company in any sort of white collar desk job, then the answer is yes, I think you should go to college. Basically, if you don't go to college and you want to be an employee, you're playing life on hard mode, and I don't think you need to. Now, if you want to work for yourself as a creative professional, I think in most cases you don't need to go to college. For example, if you want to do photography, if you want to do illustration, if you want to be a writer, I don't really think you need to go to college for that. It's not necessarily a bad idea, but it's definitely not required, because in creative fields, all that really matters is how good your work is and who you know. If you have a badass portfolio and you know the right people, you're good.
Just wanted to talk a little bit about the topic of student loans and debt, because you kind of have to when you're talking about college these days. I've seen a lot of people not go to college because they're afraid of some debt, and I think that's a mistake. Now, don't get me wrong, student loans suck ass, and I know this because when I graduated, I had $90,000 of student debt. $90,000, and it sucked, but it was an investment that paid off. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that anybody else take on that kind of debt. You should definitely not take on $90,000 of debt if you can avoid it, but for me, it was an investment that paid off, and that's how you should look at it. Student loans are not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to think about it like an investment. You got to ask yourself, if I invest this much in my future, is it going to pay off? Look up a student loan calculator. You can find these online all over the place. Basically, what you want to do is look up, if I borrow, say, $30,000 at this interest rate, the monthly payment is going to be whatever. And then do a little bit of research on what kind of jobs you might get with that degree and see how the math works out. So obviously, you don't want to pay $90,000 for a job that's going to make $45,000 a year, right? Because you're going to have a hard fucking time paying that off. Now, for me, it was worth it. It was hard and it sucked, but it was worth it for me. That degree has paid for itself several times over since I got it 10 years ago. So on the one hand, don't be stupid and get yourself into a bunch of debt that you're never going to be able to pay off. On the other hand, don't walk away from college because you're afraid of a little bit of debt that is actually not going to be a big deal once you're out there and you have a job.
If you want to go to art school or you want to go to school for creative writing or something, then by all means go for it, but don't think that it's going to guarantee you any kind of success or that anybody will necessarily give a shit, because they won't. Like I said, the only thing that matters is how good your work is. Nobody gives two fucks about where you went to school or how much it cost or what your grades were. Doesn't fucking matter.
Sorry to interrupt again. Just wanted to be clear that college is definitely not for everybody, and it's definitely not the only route to making a great living. For example, my stepbrother works for a company that makes the Wi-Fi receiver dishes in airplanes, and he does great for himself. He supports his wife and 3 kids with that. So if you're not into the idea of sitting behind a desk, don't listen to anybody that tells you you're screwed. There are lots and lots of great options for you, and there's no need for you to necessarily go to college to have a great living doing that. Another good path is sales. If you can sell, you'll always have a job and you'll always make a lot of money. So I just wanted to clear that up, and now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
What about music? I'll just tell you straight up, in music, nobody gives a fuck about a degree. Whether you want to work on the industry side, at a label, or be a manager or something like that. If you want to be a producer, certainly if you want to be a musician, nobody gives a shit about a degree. In fact, if anything, people might look down on people that went to school for some music related thing, because typically the people that go to those music business things don't have what it takes. They're not self-starters, they're not hustlers, they're not grinders. They go to these music business programs because they think if they come out of this with some diploma, then they're suddenly going to get a job in the music industry, which just, it's not how it works. Which brings me to part number 2. How do you get a job in the music industry? If it's not by going to college, how do you do it? The way you get a job in the music industry is very simple. It's by being in the right place at the right time, period. There aren't a lot of direct paths. It's It's not like if you want to work at Microsoft as a marketing manager or something, you go on Microsoft.com and see what jobs are open and you apply for it. And if your resume matches the right keywords, then the recruiter calls you and then you interview and they accept you and now you have the job. That's not how it works in music. You got to be in the right place at the right time. For example, the way that I ended up working with A Day to Remember is that I had worked with Periphery before and done good work for them. And they have the same manager, so when A Day to Remember needed some marketing, I was the person that they thought of. Right place, right time. But this is important. I'm not saying it's luck. It's unpredictable, yes, but it's not luck. You know, I think of it as like in fighting, they say the more I train, the luckier I get. It's the same thing in music. So being in the right place at the right time definitely has an element of luck, but it's not like pure luck. There are some really specific things you can do to be the person who is in the right place at the right time, and I'm going to tell you what those are. Number one is you need to have a skill, and by that I mean a specific, quantified, like measurable, hard skill that helps other people make money. Simple as that. For example, like, do you build websites? Do you take pictures? Do you make videos? Are you an illustrator? Are you a graphic designer? Are you a screen printer, a tour manager, a booking agent? These are all like specific hard skills. And the reason I mention this is because what I've seen is a lot of people who want to work in the music industry don't actually have a specific hard skill. They're just like, here I am, I'll do anything. It's great that you have that attitude, but like, I'll do anything is not a skill. Like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, tell me exactly what you can do to help me, and then when I need somebody who does what you do, maybe I'll think of you. The more specific, the better. Like, think of all the things that bands or labels or promoters or whoever you want to work with, think of all the things that they need, and then get really good at one of those things. Then the second thing is you have to let people know what you do. So I'm going to steal a little framework here from my friend Mike Mowry of Outer Loop Management. The way that he talks about it is, I'm a blank looking for blank. So like, for example, I'm a photographer looking for bands to tour with, or I'm a graphic designer looking for bands who need badass merch designs, or I'm a promoter looking for up and coming metal bands who want to play in Pensacola, Florida. Be top of mind, which basically just means like when they need a person who does X, whatever it is your skill is, that you are the person they think of. So like in that scenario, they're like, hey, do you know anybody who like does music videos? Then you're like, actually I do. My friend Drew does them. Let me introduce you guys. Like, that's how it's going to happen. Right place, right time. You've got to put yourself out there. Like, this stuff is not going to come to you. You have to go out there and get after it. So go to every single show that you can, go to every like industry event that you can, talk to absolutely everybody. Don't be a punisher or a pest and like try to sell yourself. Don't be the person handing out business cards to everybody there, but just like try to make friends with everybody. Get out there and like talk to absolutely everybody, and I promise you things will come your way. You will be in the right place at the right time eventually. It's just a matter of time. Eventually you will be in the right place at the right time, and then boom, you're off to the races. So there you go. That is how you get a job in the music industry. TLDR version is, no, you do not need to go to college. Absolutely not. Unless, you know, you want to be like a contract attorney or something like that, in which case obviously you need to go to law school. I also wanted to mention one other thing, which is I've started doing some one-on-one Skype consultations on marketing or careers. So if you want my feedback on a marketing plan, or you want some personalized like career advice, there's a link in the description to where you can sign up to do that. So if you're interested, hit that link and we can set something up. And with that, I am going to sign off for now. If you found this interesting or entertaining or informative or any of that stuff, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, or for some bizarre misguided reason you do not want to subscribe, please like the video, leave a comment, share it with a friend. Anything that you can do to help spread the word would be very much appreciated. And with that, I'm going to sign off for now, but I will see you next time.